Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Zelp, and today we are playing some Warframe and figuring out how does Shattering Impact actually work with corrosive procs. So we did videos like this before in the past. I think there are 2 or 3 already talking about corrosive and also Shattering Impact. In fact, my Shattering Impact video is one of the more popular one. It's one of those videos that actually made me who I am on the channel. As a quick summary for Shattering Impact, most people when they see this mod, the first thing that comes into mind is that you have to deal impact damage, and for every hit you actually reduce the enemy's armor by 6. But what they didn't know, and what I managed to figure out back in the days, is that the 6 armor being reduced is actually tied to the enemy's base armor, not the armor that has been skilled. So for example, if a heavy gunner has a base armor of 500, it doesn't matter how much level it has gained and how much his current armor is, you will still need roughly about 80 plus hits, because the 6 armor reduced is based on the base armor. So for every attack you do, it will remove 6 out of that 500 armor instead of whatever armor he has skilled into. And then after that, obviously a lot of people ask how would that kind of work with corrosive. So we did a separate kind of testing. It's very different from what we're about to do today, and what we did was very tedious. We basically calculated the number of hits required to strip an enemy's armor with corrosive, then calculated the number of hits that's required to strip an enemy's armor, the same enemy, with the same amount of level and armor, with Shattering Impact, and then we use both of them and see how much hits does it require, and then try to make sense out of that amount. And to be honest, not only is it tedious, it is not 100% confirmed, because at the end of the day we are looking at the number of hits and coming up with theories to fit the number of hits. Now I feel like what we're going to do today is more direct, and it's also going to justify how it will work now with the changes with corrosive. So let me try and explain what we're about to do. First, we need to decide on an enemy, which I've already done. It's going to be the Corrupted Heavy Gunner at level 60. The reason why we want it to be at level 60 is because just by using Polarize, we can use 3 Polarize to fully strip its armor. And this means by looking at the damage value from Polarize, we can also figure out what is the total armor Corrupted Heavy Gunner have. All we have to do, stand next to it and start spamming Polarize. So the first hit we see 1292, second hit 1292, third hit is 433, and at this point all of his armor is gone. So what I need to do now is I need to add all those values up. Basically, we are taking the amount of damage done, calculate them, add them up to know what is its current armor. Based on what his current armor is, we can always subtract with whatever proc that we did before and find out how much armor did that proc remove. So right now, if you add all those numbers up, you'll know that a level 60 Corrupted Heavy Gunner will have 3017 armor. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our basis is strong. We want to know that the things that we know is correct. We need to do some verification, I call it control, and what we're gonna first figure out is how Shattering Impact actually reduces the enemy's current armor. So we know that it attacks the base armor, but does it actually vary the current armor? Obviously it does, because if you are using Shattering Impact, you can see your damage gradually increasing, but how much does it increase and things like that. This is what we're trying to find out. So this is the weapon that I'll be using for the test, is a ceramic dagger. We're not using the shaku. I really want to use it, but the problem is with one hit from the stance, it will actually pull off 5 hits, and it's really inconsistent, and I don't want that in this testing. So we're gonna use a ceramic dagger that has impact and puncher, mostly puncher, but it really doesn't matter what kind of damage type it has, because we are actually really just focusing on Shattering Impact and also corrosive later. So you can see that I have Weeping Wounds, melee prowess, things that actually gives you status chance, because later we will need it to try and buff out our our corrosive. Now all I need to do is resummon another Corrupted Heavy Gunner at level 60. I will hit it once, okay, and then I will do the exact same thing again. I'll use my Polarize over and over again. Let me just take some energy orbs here because I forgot to pick up energy just now. So one, I get 1292, which is the same. Another one, 1292, and I run out of energy. And the last one, we get a 397. So what does this mean? This means that obviously its armor has been reduced, because otherwise the last number is going to be 433 to add everything up to get you 3017 armor. But in this case it's 397, and if you add everything up you're gonna get 2981 armor. Now if you do the maths and take 3017 minus 2981, you'll actually get 36. So what does this 36 represent? All you have to do is think about its base. Its base for a Corrupted Heavy Gunner is 500 armor. If it has a current armor of 3017, which means that for every base armor you have, just pretty much take 3017 divide by 500, and you will get about 6.034. If you times that by 6, because Shattering Impact remove 6 of its base armor, you'll actually get 36.2, which is really close to the amount being reduced by the Shattering Impact on the Heavy Gunner. So because of all that calculation, we kind of know that for every hit that we do, we will actually reduce the this particular level 60 Heavy Gunner his armor by 36.2. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna straight away and add the Corrosive into it. So we have these two, which increases my damage, but again, damage doesn't matter. And then we have the Corrosive, which is the important part, at 70% status chance. Now we're gonna try and do a first hit to do a Corrosive proc, and obviously Shattering Impact is going to occur because it happens 100% of the time, as long as you have impact in your weapon. Now we are going to resummon this Corrupted Heavy Gunner. Alright, and let's see, there you go, 139 and 812. Okay, just in the nick of time. So the thing that we have to make sure is that we have to use our Polarize before the Corrosive ends, because the Corrosive has a duration of 6 seconds, and if it ends before we use all our Polarize, then the value is gonna be wrong, it's gonna be different. Okay, so let's analyze what just happened. The first Polarize, we got 1394. The second, which also completely stripped the Heavy Gunner's armor, is 812. If you add them up together, you get 2206. Now this is the somewhat interesting part. If you take its original current armor, which is 3017, you were to apply the Corrosive first. So it will times, because the first proc is going to remove 26%, so therefore this whole thing will have a remaining of 74%, right? And then you minus off the Shattering Impact base armor reduction, which is just now we calculated, which is 36.2. So minus 36.2, you'll see that you do not get the value that you want, which is 2206. But however, if you let Shattering Impact to apply first and then reduce it by 26%, then let's see how much do we get. So we take the original current minus 36.2, okay, and then you times this value, you get 2206. So just like this, we have proven that if Corrosive and Shattering Impact were to happen at the same time, the Shattering Impact is going to apply first and then the Corrosive. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attack the Corrupted Heavy Gunner a random number of times to produce random number of Corrosive procs, preferably at least 2 procs, and then we're going to try and calculate and see if we can figure out what its current armor is based on what we just found out. Now we need to count the number of hits that we do, because there's also the amount of Shattering Impact being applied, and then we also need to know when the corrosive proc actually occur, because that's important, and also we need at least 2 corrosive proc in order for our testing to work. So let's go. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, 4, 5, and then we use our this one 1, 3, and I couldn't see the number. So over here we have my workspace, the editor. Everything is recorded, so we do have the values, and we are going to solve it right now, right here. Now if you look back at the video, the first hit does not have a corrosive proc, but there is a Shattering Impact. So if we were to do the calculations right now, it will be 3017 minus 36.2 for the first part. The second hit did not have a corrosive as well, so after you minus that, you minus another 36.2, and then the third hit has a corrosive, but we learned that the Shattering Impact apply first, so you minus another 36.2, then whatever is remaining, it's going to be times 0.74% because you minus off 26%. Now on the fourth hit, it's a little bit special, because although it did not proc corrosive, but the calculation is a little bit different. Remember, the Shattering Impact has to apply first, so you're actually going to move the minus 36.2 into the box, into the base, how much is being reduced, and then multiply by the first corrosive that actually was done to the enemy. So if you really think about it, looking at this equation, Shattering Impact will always minus 36.2 armor, but the corrosive amount that it actually reduces is actually increasing the more Shattering Impact is applied. Anyways, now we come to the last and final hit, and it is also a corrosive. First, we're going to add the Shattering Impact damage into the bracket again, and then after that we need to bump up the corrosive. So add an extra 6% to that 26, you get 32%, and then we need to change that into a way where how much damage left. So therefore now, instead of times 74%, we are going to times 68%. And finally, if you do all the calculation, you are going to get 1928.48 armor. So therefore currently the heavy gunner has that much. So now we have to check with the reality of things to the part where I kind of miss. So here's the first polarize. It is 1394. And then the second polarize, there you go, is 534. So if you add that up, you will get 1928. There you go, calculation proven, and we also know how it stacks. To be honest, you don't need this much degree of detail to be playing this game and have fun, but sometimes knowing a little bit more is indeed fun. And if you want to be more specific or perfect with your build, knowing these things can give you a slight advantage. Anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.